ever since you left, some kind of thing has been coming out of the woods every night.
Is it a monster movie or a love story? Or could it be both? Let's talk about 2019's After Midnight. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping by, and be sure to stick around to the end of the review, as at the end of all my reviews I give recommendations. So if you did enjoy After Midnight, I have a couple movies I think you'll enjoy as well. Also, be sure and like this video and drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this movie, as well as any other movies you would like to see me review. 2019's After Midnight, not to be confused with 1989's After Midnight, directed by Jim Wheat, tells the story of Hank, played by co-director and star Jeremy Gardner, who is left to defend his home from an ominous threat after his girlfriend Abby, played by Brea Grant, has left him weeks prior. He's left to his own devices with nothing but a shotgun and a couch barricading his door, defending himself from an ominous, ambiguous monster that seems to be coming around every night after midnight. After Midnight was written and co-directed by Jeremy Gardner. This guy's an interesting guy. He had previously written and directed a movie that I really enjoyed called The Battery, which was a really low-key DIY zombie flick, which has a lot of similarities to this. A really minimal cast, focusing on just a couple characters, extremely low budget, shot on just a Canon camera that you could just go to Walmart and buy right now for $400 or $500. Pretty cool achievement in independent film. He seems to have a lot of talent and passion for his project. He likes to write and direct projects that he stars in, and that brings us to 2019's After Midnight, which he also co-directed with cinematographer Christian Stella. First things first, I want to get right to the trailer of this movie, which absolutely and completely misrepresents what this film is. This film absolutely promises a balls to the wall monster creature feature. You're going to get some of that, but that is not what this movie is all about. This movie at its core is about a relationship. How Hank has dealt with his girlfriend Abby leaving, how it's affecting the people around him, and how ultimately he may or may not be going crazy. And that leads me to one of the very interesting aspects of the storytelling of this movie. We've seen movies like this before, movies like The Mist, or Night of the Living Dead, or just any zombie movie where they barricade inside and threats are trying to get into the house. We've seen that a lot before, and this does a unique little storytelling aspect where intercut of these scenes with him defending himself from this monster trying to get in this house and potentially kill him are these really sweet scenes with him and his girlfriend in better times before she left. In the movie's timeline, she's been gone for 3 or 4 weeks, and he's just absolutely broken. Everybody around him in their little small town is worried. They think he's going crazy. They don't think there's a monster trying to get into his house. They think he's just losing his mind. So that is a cool storytelling aspect of where did she go? Why did she leave? Is this monster real? There's a lot of interesting questions that are asked of you, and you slowly do start to find those answers. And that's what makes the storytelling kind of interesting, because this is a very low-key movie. This is a slow burn. This is by no means some sort of action-packed movie. I tend to really enjoy these minimalistic, character-based, sort of contemplative stories, kind of heady movies. I'm not going to say this movie is cerebral by any means, and it may in fact think it's a little deeper than it is, but I found the story to be really relatable, because I've been through, in the past few years, on a personal note, I've been through some very similar things as this young man is dealing with, and it sucks. So as he's dealing with the pain of losing his girlfriend, I was right there with him, kind of feeling his pain with him. If anybody's ever lost anybody, you can really relate to Hank's character, because he wakes up one day and she is just gone, and he is absolutely devastated. So I was right there with him. I was really pulling for him. Now, for some people, this just may not be enough to hang on to for a whole movie, because not a lot happens, honestly. It's not a super eventful, action-packed movie until you get towards the end, and then some exciting things do happen. This is a love story, and it's a sad love story. Now, even though this isn't a balls-to-the-wall creature feature, there is some nice practical and some CGI mixed effects as far as the creature goes. The performances are pretty good. I'd be willing to bet that some people may not like Jeremy Gardner's performance as much as a romantic style lead. I would have been interested to see a more traditional leading man that may have had just slightly more chemistry with the lead actress Brea Grant, but I thought they did a pretty good job. So the movie lays out quite a few interesting prospects as far as what is this threat trying to get in the house? Why did his girlfriend leave? Where did she go? So that keeps you kind of going until the end of the movie, when you do get some answers. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it hit me pretty good. It hit me in the feels, and I will say one bit of a relationship advice, if I've learned anything in my years, and I can relate it to this movie. If you're in a relationship, especially, I'm mainly talking to you guys. If your girlfriend's concerned about something, if she's dropping little hints about things that she wants to do, things that you're not doing, things that you're letting her down about, or you're not being motivated enough, and you try to blow those things off, it ain't gonna go away. She gonna find somebody else. She gonna find somebody else who will fulfill her needs. I guarantee you, she will be gone like a fart in the wind. So a little something to keep on to. I watched an interview with Jeremy Gardner, and he had written this movie after being in a long-term relationship and actually ending a long-term relationship, and you can really tell from the stuff that comes out, especially at the end of the movie. So all I can say, guys, is if you love your girl, listen to her, otherwise she'll be gone. So ultimately, I really did enjoy this movie. It has a nice conclusion. I think Jeremy Gardner's a real talent. I look forward to seeing what he's doing next. Just don't expect this to be a balls to the wall monster fest, because it's not. I reviewed this movie because I wanted to suggest it to you guys, but it's important to know what you're getting into. Now we're getting into the recommendation section of the review, and I have 2 movies that I'd like to suggest to you if you enjoyed After Midnight. The first being Summer of Blood, which I have talked about on this channel. I absolutely love this movie. This movie does lean a little bit further into the comedy. It's extremely dry humor about a guy who's this schlubby guy who, again, fits with that theme of taking your partner for granted. Guys, stop doing that. There's a big, hilarious breakup scene at the beginning of the movie, and as he's walking home, he gets bit by a vampire. So it's a vampire movie, and it goes to some crazy places. It's a lot of fun. I absolutely love this movie. There's some genuinely kind of scary moments to it as well. It's got a lot of dry humor that I would compare kind of to like What We Do in the Shadows, mixed with like a mumblecore. Who's the guy who did Creep? That guy, his style of humor, kind of the cringe humor a little bit, but I would absolutely suggest Summer of Blood. It's a great movie. And another movie that is one of my absolute favorite movies, Lou Taylor Pucci in Spring. I absolutely love this movie. Lou Taylor Pucci plays a guy who is going through a bunch of really bad things going on in his life, and he goes to Europe to escape everything, and he meets this girl, this beautiful girl, but she can't be with him. She wants to be with him, but she really keeps him at a major distance, and there's good reason for that. She may or may not be some sort of ancient shape-shifting creature, but it's a really interesting movie, and I absolutely love this movie. And this is another thing where it's not a balls to the walls creature effect. They use it just enough. It's mainly about a relationship, but there's some really cool practical creature effects in this movie. I absolutely love Spring. If you've never seen it, I cannot recommend Spring enough. It's absolutely beautiful. The cinematography, the acting, it's just absolutely a fantastic movie. These guys, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, also did The Endless and Resolution, which are 2 other great movies, so cannot recommend Spring enough. Go watch Spring and go watch SOB, Summer of Blood. I think you guys will really enjoy both of those movies. So, and also, I wanted to say that After Midnight would have fit perfectly in my genre date night video. If you haven't seen that, I highly suggest watching that movie. It's a bunch of other kind of relationship, crazy love-centric style genre film. I mentioned both of these in there. It's a great little video. I highly suggest checking that one out too. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Stay weird, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
I love movies. Gosh, I love movies. I love watching them, and I love making them.